Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And we're going to do our very best to review Annihilation.
Right.
We went and saw it over the week after our vacation, and I don't... First off, we're going to try not to spoil it. We're going to spoil it.
We're going to spoil it because
I don't know
we've
how
agreed that you can't... how do you do it without spoiling something?
Right. And this movie is definitely a movie where you're going to... everybody's going to have a different answer at the end of what the movie is about.
Yeah.
And so to have that conversation, you have to talk about stuff that happens in the movie, and that means we have to spoil it. So you've been warned. You're 45 seconds in, spoiled. Go watch the movie. Come back.
Right.
Good luck. Go.
Okay. We went and saw this on Wednesday, so that was like 4 days ago. So got to think about this.
Right.
So visually amazing.
Yes.
I liked it more the farther away from it I got.
Yes. The more you thought about it,
The more I thought about it.
kind of get into it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I had some preconceived notions because he's read.
I read the book. I read the books.
Yeah. And so, he would kind of tell me what was going on with that. So I had some preconceived notions. It was not what I expected, other than it's aliens. Because I was like, it's aliens, right?
It's sci-fi.
Like,
It's aliens. In the books, they don't use the aliens word until 2/3 of the way through the third book. And they talk about everything else that it could be until that point in time.
Right.
And then they finally, actually in the book, they finally say, okay, we're starting to start using the A word. It has to be aliens. And so, but...
Well, because everybody keeps coming in. Well, in the books, apparently few people come out, but in the movie, everybody keeps coming in and nobody comes out. So they have
no clue what's going on.
We don't know what's
Part of my I'm trying to try to word this the correct way. Part of the way I viewed this movie is under the pretext of the book.
Yeah.
But I tried to keep myself open to it. And I don't want to say I had a notion of what the movie was, because I knew that it wasn't going to be the book. I know. Just like I know Ready Player One is not going to be the book. Right. So I try to keep that open. But there's stuff that happens in the book that's so important to the first book storyline, which is Annihilation. The first book is called Annihilation. That's what this one is kind of based off of. And they took a couple of different of the plot lines from the book and melded them together into one scene or one set of scenes, which is fine. I really liked this movie. I think I might have liked it. I think I will like it more the more viewings I get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely agreed that we need to watch it a couple more times because
it is a intellectual sci-fi movie. It's like Blade Runner, kind of where you have to think about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And the whole last probably 15 minutes in the movie, there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
It's all visual.
It's just her. Yeah,
and
on the beach, and then going into the lighthouse.
Right.
So she's the only person left. Well, there's dialogue because she plays back
the video and stuff. In the book, she goes. So in the movie, there's a lighthouse, and there's just a lighthouse, and there's a giant hole in it because something from space crashed, and it makes this big hole in the ground, and they go in the ground or whatever. In the book, there's the lighthouse. And then there's this thing that a lot of people call the tower, and it's actually what it is like a shaft in the ground. And also in the book, there's they play back and forth between the tower and the lighthouse, and there's a differentiation between the two. In the movie, though, it's all one thing, and the symbolism of the lighthouse being the thing to tell you where the shore is, but also to tell you to stay away from the shore.
To guide you home and to warn you.
Right, is exactly what is ended up happening in this movie.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more the symbolism of the lighthouse, I think, is way more important than the tower in the book.
Yeah.
The tower actually has the big alien thing in it.
Yeah. And I mean, you were telling me about that, and I thought that was kind of strange.
Right.
I'm sure it made sense in the book, but why have two things that you go back and forth between?
Yeah,
Combine them.
but it's the other thing too about the book is the expedition that Natalie Portman's character goes on. They say it's the 7th expedition into the Shimmer, which is essentially the giant force field around this area where the Shimmer. And in the book, it's the 7th iteration of the expedition in, but each iteration has had 30 or 40 different groups go in.
Yeah.
And they try different versions of the team to see if it affects everything that goes on. Now, I really liked the explanation in the movie of what is actually happening to the area. It's that it's a refraction of what is being seen by the alien and how it's affecting the DNA and all that stuff.
Right, and it's not a reflection, it's a refraction.
Refraction, right.
And a reflection is an exact duplicate, but a refraction is kind of pieced together or whatever, which is how you end up with these deer with bush horns or
right.
flower horns.
And as soon as you enter the Shimmer, it's your DNA is starting to be affected.
Yeah.
And that's really not really explained very well in the book until later. And so I like that. Is there anything like in the movie itself that you didn't like? It's kind of hard because we're still trying to figure out what it is about the movie that we're like, yes and no and
yeah. I'm gonna have to see it again. I mean, there was some creepy shit. We actually talked to a friend who had seen it yesterday, and they were like, "Oh my god, the bear screaming part was it." And we're like, "Oh yeah,
that's super creepy." And they don't pull away from the bear attack. They show the bear
and the alligator attack.
Yeah, they show like the blood flying and the rips and the tears and the jaw getting ripped off and like they show it. They don't get away from it, and that's.
I guess there was some underdevelopment of the other people on the mission with her,
right?
That I
like to have had some more of.
Yeah. And again, it was a 3-book story, and so they tried to cram it all in. And then the sex scene between Natalie Portman and her her fellow employee, fellow professor, whatever. I didn't understand what the point of that was, other than to show that she was unfaithful. But I mean, we could have just said that.
Yeah, that's kind of where that plot line of her infidelity, and that's why her husband, who is played by Oscar Isaac, her infidelity is the reason why he goes on the mission, and then when he's on the mission, things happen and stuff, and that conversation is not in the book at all. And I just don't feel it was necessary.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have told the story of him going, which is the catalyst for the reason why she ends up going, in a different form.
Yeah.
And, they're military. He's a military person. So going on this expedition is part of that thing. And she's ex-military and a biologist. So her going makes sense and everything. And to go find her husband and what happened to him. You could have told that story completely fine without the infidelity.
Right. Yeah.
That was my one thing that I was like, I wish they hadn't have done it that way. But I'm not making the movie. So
yeah.
But overall, I think we liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
When originally when we left the movie, I was like, and we're gonna talk about score here in a minute, but I'm just gonna talk about score. When we originally left the movie, I was like, I'm maybe a 2.5 on this. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the more I thought about it, I was like, I think I really like this. So I'm actually at like a 3.5 now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, is a 3.5, and I'm pretty sure if on multiple viewings that might go up. It's very possible it might go down because of the stuff from the book is so different in places that it really that was one of the first things we talked about after we left. There's stuff that happened in the book that's super, super important to the storyline that's not even addressed. And that, I feel that, but the book also, we talked about this, is the Annihilation, the first book in the series, is a journal.
Yeah.
It's a first person written journal of Natalie Portman's character going into the Shimmer and her whole process. And that is very difficult to put on screen.
Yeah, and there's like I love to say, this as a Stephen King book reader, this is the struggle that we have when we go see movies. There's different adaptations, right? There is kind of the taken from, where it's the feel, but it's actually almost rewritten, to the the word for word adaptation. So you just kind
of it's pretty close.
No, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me is really
Stand By Me is almost word for word for the story.
It's got a lot from the book. It's got a lot from the book, but I think some of the major points that are in the book couldn't have been done in the movie the way it's written, or it would have been a 2-part, 3-hour. Each part would have been 3 hours. And,
right, and I think that they were just very conscious of, we are not doing a trilogy or a series or whatever. We need to wrap this all up in one movie.
I like to have seen the trilogy done, but I understand why they didn't do it, because this is going to do okay the first weekend, maybe the second weekend, but it's going to fall off after that. This is a intellectual sci-fi movie, and that doesn't make a lot of money in the theater.
But you should go see it.
But you should go see it in the theater, because
it's visually amazing.
God, it's so cool. The color palette is just amazing. So that's what we have to say about... Which one are we doing? Annihilation? We're so confused. This is what happens when you go on vacation. While you're here, please leave us a comment. Tell us about what you thought of Annihilation. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel too, and hit the little bell so you get notifications when we're uploading stuff. We're getting back in the groove, so we're going to try to post as much as we can. Follow us on Facebook too at the Pop Culture Cult. We're PopCultureCult1 on Instagram, and we're at Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. We're also on the Stardust app. Download it for free. Follow us first. Do little reactions. Happy #ColdBeerSunday. Good morning now.